Count Binface, welcome to Nieuwsuur.
It's a pleasure to be on Nieuwsuur. I am the only candidate who is offering two price cap croissants at £1.10. I will pledge to build at least one affordable house. I will ban speakerphones on public transport.
Dit is momenteel een van de belangrijkste figuren in de Britse politiek.
Hi, Count Binface here, and I'm raring to go for the Clacton by-election. Gonna be epic.
It's perhaps surprising that a satirical novelty candidate would be looking at getting such a big chunk of the vote as well.
Mr. Farage?
Wat betekent dat voor zijn rechtsradicale tegenstander Nigel Farage?
You've done big gambles in the past. Isn't this just a stunt?
Oh, it's a big gamble.
Want als je begrijpt waarom Count Binface meedoet aan de verkiezingen, begrijp je ook wat er aan de hand is in de Britse politiek.
Rolling. Good day to you, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you. Listen, we're a very serious program, so I'm going to take your candidacy completely seriously, if that's all right with you.
I should expect nothing less. I would be absolutely appalled and slightly put out if you do anything less.
Voordat we verder gaan, eerst even de context. Want Count Binface is misschien satire, maar de verkiezing waaraan hij meedoet op 13 augustus is bloedserieus. De winnaar komt in het Britse parlement.
No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions.
En dus gingen we naar de thuisbasis van Nigel Farage, Clacton-on-Sea. Het normaal zo slaperige kustplaatsje dat plots het middelpunt werd van de Britse politiek. De partijleider van Reform UK was tot voor kort parlementslid namens Clacton-on-Sea en gooit hoge ogen om de volgende premier te worden. Maar onlangs kwam Farage in opspraak nadat hij £5 miljoen aan donaties kreeg van een cryptomiljardair en daar niet open over was.
In Britain, the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has resigned as an MP for Clacton-on-Sea, triggering a by-election in which he will stand again.
It follows a donations row and growing scrutiny of his finances. He says it's time to fight back.
This will be a people versus the establishment by-election.
Maar dat establishment ziet er plots heel anders uit. De andere gevestigde Britse partijen doen namelijk niet mee.
This is a desperate stunt from Nigel Farage, and it's obvious why he's doing it. He is up to his neck in sleaze.
I think the reason why Nigel Farage is doing this is because he is very worried that he's going to be found to have done something wrong.
Bij gebrek aan serieuze kandidaten is er nu een rivaal opgestaan. Een man met een vuilnisbak op zijn hoofd. Naar eigen zeggen afkomstig uit de ruimte.
Hi, Count Binface here, and I'm raring to go for the Clacton by-election. Gonna be epic.
So what was it about Nigel Farage's by-election that made you think this needs a man with a bin on his head?
Firstly, I take issue with that. I'm not a man. I am a recyclone from Sigma 9. And I take big issue with being sullied with the human being brush. So how dare you? As for why am I standing against Nigel Farage? Well, why not? You know, he's called this by-election. None of the other major parties have bothered to show up. So someone's got to show him some proper opposition. And my goodness me, am I doing that?
So he said he's going to do something like the people v. the establishment. As you say, the establishment decided not to stand, so that makes you the people then?
Well, he said I'm the establishment, which is curious because he's a former member of Parliament, former member of the European Parliament, who has been given a gift of £5 million and possibly more, who knows, and says he can spend it on Ferraris if he wants, and has been one of the architects of Britain's political direction for the last 2 decades. Whereas I am a lone wolf alien with a lovejoy fetish. So you tell me who's the establishment. Here's to a positive campaign showing the very best of democracy. May the best life form win and make your votes count.
En die oproep is niet zonder succes. Volgens de laatste peilingen kan Binface op zo'n 20% van de stemmen rekenen. Nigel Farage staat op 70%.
Clacton has a very old, very white, very socially conservative electorate, so you would expect Nigel Farage to win overwhelmingly.
He would deal with the immigrants, the illegal immigrants.
Do you think Nigel Farage has done good things for Clacton?
Yes.
Like what?
Well, he looks a lot cleaner.
I'm voting for Nigel to give him a chance. Everybody's tried to do nothing and they plenty of talk but no do. So let's give this man a try.
It doesn't bother you that he received £5 million in donations?
And so what? He got some donations.
On the other hand, like 20% going to a novelty candidate is more or less without precedent. It's perhaps surprising that a satirical novelty candidate would be looking at getting such a big chunk of the vote as well.
Nigel Farage has spent his career presenting himself as the anti-establishment outsider. Now he's being challenged by someone who's presumably from outer space. Seriously, have you made his act impossible to perform?
That's not for me to say. That's for the voters of Clacton to say, and indeed the Earth media. I'm simply doing what I always do. And look what's happened. 6 weeks ago, I ran against Prime Minister Andy Burnham. He wasn't PM then. Look what running against me has done for him. And I got 0.2% of the vote. And apparently, about 2 days ago in a poll, I was running at 20%. So I make that a rough 10,000% increase in a few weeks. Why that's happening, I leave you to comment. You're the journalist.
Count Binface has been around for a while. He stood in the seats of the last few prime ministers. He stood in Boris Johnson's seat. There's always been a little bit of a satirical tradition in British politics of people essentially putting themselves up as candidates. There's a sort of, a Monty Python style sense of the absurd that some people in Britain like to engage in as comedians and like to consume.
You've been running against not only the now Prime Minister, but against Theresa May, Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson.
Who?
Theresa May.
Can't remember
Boris
that
Johnson.
one. It's a long time ago. I think they're on the trash heap of history. That I think I remember now.
Okay,
she was
but
the one who. Yes, I remember. Theresa May. She detonated her majority when she didn't have to. Very funny. Rishi Sunak called an election when he didn't have to. Very funny. Boris Johnson got thrown out of Parliament for being found to have not told the entire truth. And yes, I got to stand in his constituency twice. Very funny.
Why?
Why did he get thrown out?
No, why are you running against all these people?
Why not? What's your hobby?
Well, my hobby, well, I could say my hobby does not bring me as far as you.
What is it?
What is it? My hobby? I make gherkins on my roof terrace.
There we are. We're not so different then, you and I. I just make political gherkins out of British politicians, and I pickle them to the nth degree until they have been marmalized by old Binface. British politics is the only system where anybody can stand for election no matter what they look like. I'm not naming names. And on election night, everybody has to stand on that village hall stage or the sports hall or whatever it is, whether you're Count Binface, you're Nigel Farage or the Gherkin Party, and you all get a chance to stand together, and the great and the good are held to account, no pun intended. And I think it's wonderful, don't you? So I'm to be able to prove that this tradition is alive and well in the 21st century is an honor and a privilege, and I'm humbled by it.
So you're celebrating British politics, but you're also criticizing politics. That must be right now.
There it is, two sides of the same coin. That is the magic of satire, my dear man. So you can relish the fact that satire exists, but if you're too deferential, then what's the point? And you see, have you spoken to any satirists or satirical candidates in China or Russia or North Korea? I doubt it. That's what we need to celebrate. I am the only candidate who is offering 2 price-cap croissants at £1.10. Blame Liz and Rishi for the extra 10p. I will pledge to build at least one affordable house. I will ban speakerphones on public transport.
Count Binface is het alter ego van komiek John Harvey. Hij studeerde klassieke talen aan Oxford en is radiopresentator.
He mocks the whole process. He mocks the sort of undeliverable promises and sort of bombastic language of populists in general.
Let's go to your manifesto. It promises at least one affordable home and the nationalization of Adele. Which one is the joke?
How dare you? None of those are jokes. They're fully costed. I say I will build at least one affordable house because every single housing target, including the current Labour government's one of 1.5 million homes in the parliamentary term, looks like being nonsense. So it's about time that one politician, instead of over-promising and under-delivering, I under-promise and will over-deliver. How about them apples? And as for Adele, why wouldn't I want to nationalise a British treasure like that? She hasn't got an album out. She's bound to one day. Buy out her record deal now, and then when she brings out the next one, kaboom! We'll make it rain. Come in with me on it.
Beyond all these jokes, what's the one idea in your program you genuinely want people to take seriously?
Jokes. I mean, honestly, what is this interview? It's a fake news from the Netherlands. But I will say this, that there are several key planks in my manifesto which are very serious, not least the movement of hand dryers in pubs, in gents' toilets, to more sensible positions so that humans stop air frying their genitals. That's a big one. And even more than that, I would say the biggest one is that oil and gas companies should pay for solar panels for everyone. And that policy was given to me by a child named Jack, aged 10. Now, if you say that's a joke, well, I think your generation is a joke.
There's an obvious criticism of you. Nigel Farage creates a spectacle and then you enter that spectacle and suddenly the satire receives more attention than almost everyone else. Aren't you helping to turn politics into exactly the kind of circus you claim to criticize?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and I would turn that back on you and suggest that your logic is false, because the mockery is being made of politics by a member of parliament opting to call a by-election when he shouldn't need to, because there's a parliamentary committee investigating him, which may trigger a by-election in a few months anyway, which is why the so-called mainstream parties aren't standing. Now, if you're suggesting that Nigel Farage should stand in a by-election against nobody at all, then I would want to know, what is the mockery here? If there is an election, anybody is allowed to stand, and anybody who thinks it's a problem for somebody to stand, well, they're the ones who are anti-democratic. So actually, I would say the reverse of your question is the truth.
Behind Count Binface is a comedian known in Britain as John Harvey, successful man, a writer, a comedian, as I said. Does this character allow you to attack politicians without ever being held personally accountable yourself?
Well, that's an interesting question. I suppose it's you're analysing the sort of the line between satire and sort of mainstream politics. And if you were to bring Father Christmas in December for a trenchant interview and ask him why he delivers presents to so many children, it might start to undermine the joy of the season.
When this election is over, what do you want people to have understood that they did not understand before you entered it?
I'm not sure that I can help them to understand anything they didn't understand. I certainly can't help them understand why this election was called. I hope I've managed to provide some light relief at a time when I think some humans could do with a bit of that, as well as hopefully shining a light on issues big and small. And if I've done any of that and helped to celebrate democracy at the same time, well, then I'm a happy bin.
Count Binface, thank you very much.
My pleasure.